It sounds like you got something too there.
Nope, I was just outside most of the day today.
Oh, okay.
So, if anything, it's probably allergies. Anyway, hey everyone, I'm here. I'm Surreal Canine.
I am
I am connecting to Fox's computer.
Hold on, not yet. Remember, I need to get the game started first.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's still glitchy like that, apparently. So, hey, yes. So, I am here. I might have the, I'm probably just going to have the face cam off for most of the time, even though people want to see dogs and cats, just because, I don't know, I'm sick. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. If I think it's bad, I'll turn it off, but hey. I haven't really eaten anything much because I haven't been able, it just feels like I shouldn't. Oh, I just hope it's not the big C word. Ah, yeah, who is pouncing on my foot? Luna, what are you doing? Why are you just pounce on my foot and nip my toe? What did you do?
Puppy, please.
She stole a piece of toilet paper off the bottom of my sock. Yeah, okay, so there was a piece of toilet paper stuck to the bottom of my sock and she wanted to remove it, I guess. Dog, alright. Well, we,
Dog, please.
It's way too much time making custom costumes here. I haven't got a chance to show them off on stream yet, so this will be a first.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get everything perfect yet, but I did create something unintentionally funny just because I couldn't figure out a vehicle for one of the things I was making. But so I was making Susie, so it's like, not like Deltarune Susie. It's like for RPA. She's like, okay, she would ride a motorcycle, so let's try to make a motorcycle.
She's mostly Deltarune Susie.
But so I just put it in to see how it worked, and it doesn't fit at all with the type of character I made. That's the default. But it's funny, so I kept it. I was like, you know what? Sure. Can we do the thing? Neo 2. Why is Neo 2 on there? I didn't even do Neo 2 last time. Weird. What in the world?
I don't know what in the world.
Oh, that's why it was listed as Neo 2. I forgot. I recorded the extremely lol what. Whoa! Alright. Uh-oh. I don't know if I can do this.
It looks like you were having Mode 7 problems.
I don't know where game capture went. I can't recenter this, can I? Uh-oh. Oh, there it goes. I was just recording something really silly off of Neo. It's almost back. I completely forgot about it because I've been sick and it just... when my back gets real bad, I can, like, just get brain derpy sometimes. Stop selecting the wrong thing, OBS. I'm trying to get this here. There we go. Hey, it's an intro that I can actually play that won't get me demonetized and claimed like Tales of Vesperia, which is why you don't see Tales of Vesperia on my YouTube channel, because Bamco is dumb. There we go. Okay, now we can get you to join in here.
Okay, here we are. Amazing! Alrighty, here we go. We're doing a thing, and I'm going to pause my incoming feed of Fox's stream because it's only like 2 video streams incoming while Dad is trying to watch TV.
Alrighty.
My other D-pad's magnetized to the back of my controller. Also, woo, it's Matalo.
Here.
You've done well to make it this far, Mega Man. A new challenge is now available for tournament goers such as yourself. Meet me at the newly completed Limestone Pagoda. Something. I don't know. I don't have voice mod open, so that is as speed as you are going to get.
Okay, the Limestone Pagoda is not something that is really good to do. It is like Kirby Boss Rush, except like every Mega Man boss
Wow.
And there's like 18 or 20 bosses in a row, and it's like, ah.
That's not every Mega Man boss.
Me.
Huh? What's this wisp? Boo! He gets him every time. What was that for? Sorry, just need to set the mood, you know? After all, you now stand inside the arena, home to the most grueling trials that grace the tournament grounds. And a place to relive all your favorite battles. My name is Ghostwoman. You can consider me the curator of the challenges you'll face here. If you're feeling brave enough to proceed, my hosts and I will explain each arena for you tackle. Do you think you have what it takes, Mega Man?
She wasn't just killed, her grammar was too, I guess.
Either way, I'm rooting for you.
Okay, well, bye.
We have stuff to see. And also a hub world to explore. And stuff. Beep beep.
There's nothing new in the hub world yet. Not until we finish the, Wait, we did finish the boss, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so there probably will be something.
Costumes! It's Bastion.
I shrunk his sliding sprite.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Rush!
This was a pain to do. It took forever to make this entire custom sprite. Tiger change colors. Go ahead. Let's see it. I haven't tested this other one yet, so we'll see if it works. Hi.
Susie! Susie Roo. I feel like the walk cycle should just be a hop cycle.
Well, Rui's don't exactly like... I need to get better sound effects, but Bastion attacks with his weapon. That's one too, if you use that ability. I wish there's a sound effect to that, but...
That's pretty cute.
It's just absolutely silly, but...
Okay, it's Bastion and Susie, together at last.
Did you try the slash thing?
Slash thing. You mean the break dash?
Yes. She does like the Roo tail hop and kick at the same time, so... Default Rui just does like the Roo kicks, but... This is what I worked on today. Bastion took me days to make, because he's full custom. I used the sprite database for the Rui.
I feel like the sliding sprite could use a bit of work, but yeah. You did alright.
Sliding animation, that was actually a sliding sprite from a Bomberman.
That's funny.
She should have like a face icon too in the pause menu. Make sure that works.
Nope!
Custom text lengths. What? Stack frame is... What is that?
Alright, well, I gotta switch to a different character, I guess.
What was that? That is an error I've never seen.
Alright, is this gonna...
It shouldn't do anything else here. Alrighty. What in the world was that? That is strange.
Well, they got it on camera, so...
I didn't even add, like, custom text, so I don't know what that's about.
Well, I caught it on camera.
Yeah. I mean, I did too, so... What could possibly be doing that? Text height? Like, I didn't even add any custom text stuff. I don't even know what that error is.
There you go. Actually, I need this right now.
Like, what?
It is a Mr. T.
It had to be from something in the menu there, but, like, I didn't add any custom text to stuff. So I don't know what it's talking about. That is extremely weird.
Yeah, these supposed need to go back in here.
I honestly have no idea what that's about, but okay, come on, MaGMML, let's load up again. Yeah, well, it's just waiting to load, and then I'll have to wait for you to reconnect too, once you...
Yeah.
I tried shrinking the face sprite, maybe that was it. I mean, we could do a test real quick with that, I guess. Ah! What?
What?
That is incorrect. What the hell is going on here? Okay, hold on.
That's pretty good.
That is
Susie's
something...
sprite was surrounded by a black square. It's so spooky.
That doesn't make any sense. So let me guess. It was... Oh, it decided to replace everything with non-transparent stuff. Because of course it did. Because of course it did. Don't you just love it when Windows derps up? Actually, hold on. Nope, that's not right. Give me a second. What is going on? Are you going to open?
No!
Error code goes blah. I have no idea what would possibly cause that crash, but I'm not the one who made the engine, so I have no idea. What is that? That noise.
No, I'm just messing around with stuff. I have my fingers in the bag of throat drops.
Oh. Throat drops, huh?
Yep. Need them if I'm going to be reading every single review in this compilation. Doesn't need to be there.
Okay. It's Alt-Control-Delete. Hey, does it say I'm not streaming?
You're definitely live.
Okay. Alright, let's try this again. Okay. I don't know what that crash possibly is. Amatsu would need to be around to ask somebody what that was, but because I didn't add any custom text to anything, so I don't know what the heck that possibly was.
The witch is almost at 20%.
All right, you can rejoin again. It looks like it popped back up. There we go. Now, hopefully, it won't crash this time. I shrunk the head thing. Try going to the menu again, see if it does it.
It crashed again. Alright, what does that say?
Pause menu, fatal error in execution area.
Variable index out of range.
Some custom text lengths. But I don't have anything in custom text lengths. That is odd. That is strange. Hold on. Can you not... Ah! Look out. Yeah, there shouldn't be anything like that going on. Let me double check everything here to see, because I don't want this crashing on us, so I'm using my stuff. Custom Buster offset victory pose, no. Auto light mask. Custom text parameters, number 17. But there is nothing in 17, right? There's nothing in 17.
It didn't look like it said custom text types to me. It looked like it said costume.
Yes, the custom text thing it said.
Okay.
But there's like nothing there for that. I don't understand. Yeah, there's no, like, custom text thing here. That's strange. I don't know what this thing is doing. I really don't know what this thing is doing. Text. Yeah, there's no custom text thing. That is remarkably strange. Oh, I see what it did. Okay. Oh, okay. What in the world did you do? Hey.
I did a thing.
Aha. Is that what the problem is? That is very strange. I'll give it one more try. If it doesn't work, then I'll have to have somebody who can actually test it or know what the heck it means, because I don't have any custom text things set up anywhere. So I don't know what the heck it's on about. All right, can rejoin here. I mean, maybe the normal Rui works, but I don't know why Susie wouldn't work. It makes no sense.
Alright, well, I'll just change my costume.
It makes 0 sense. Like, nothing is set for custom. It says object, pause menu, draw, yes. And HTML costume text lengths. Out of range, yes, right there. But we don't have custom text lengths. Pause menu, draw.
It might not be because of the. It might not be because of the text. It could be some completely unrelated variable that's breaking.
Okay. Well, okay, I'll restart it. You can try the normal Rui, because maybe it's the gender assignment thing, because I have different stuff set for Susie than the regular Rui. At least I'll be able to tell what the heck is going on with it. Whoa! Slimed glasses. Can you start game thinking? Darn it! I want to show out the costume. Well, Bastion works fine, and I did the same stuff with Bastion, so what? I am confused. Oh shoot. I can't do anything because you didn't quit out.
I quit out.
You did now, but the game started first. So... That's weird that you have to join second. It has to be something in Parsec that we can fix for that, but I don't know how you do that.
Mm.
Alright, well, let's go get the other costume then, I guess. I'll fix it for next time. Alrighty. Whenever you're ready to get it. In there. There we go. Does regular Rui crash it?
Yep.
The hell? Why does regular Rui crash it, but the others
Maybe. Is it? I wonder if it's because we're both using custom costumes. Like, try. Like, let me switch back to roll and you try Susie. And we'll see what happens.
Alright. Maybe? I mean, that would kind of suck if you could only have one custom costume. But maybe that, yeah, maybe that could be it, because then it's both searching for like the custom costume stuff, and then it's confusing the two. All right. All right. Connection failure, what? Here it goes. Weird. Why am I hearing two of them? What the heck? There wasn't two of them.
Alright, put me back on roll for now. Wait, pronouns he, him? That's not right.
Wait. Wait. Hers is...
What? Something is broken. Okay, it works for you.
Okay, so it's because multiplayer.
Yeah. Oh well.
That's annoying.
Oh, it's something to bring up with the dev.
You'll have to report it. Yeah, that you can't both use custom costumes. I'll stick with Bastion. You're just gonna keep playing as Roll until we unlock somebody else?
Switch me to Mega Man.
Sure.
It would be cool if we had MegaMan.exe, but we don't. Definitely gonna switch to Rush when we unlock Rush.
Okay, make sure it doesn't get a crash with him open there too. Okay, so it's just two people doing custom costumes. I'm going to guess that it's searching for values. It's screwing up which values it's searching for.
I think so. I think it's referencing the wrong variable or something as the index.
Well, you can check for other people here. I wonder. Well, at least if Mega Man is interrupting, I guess it's still. Anybody else around here? I don't think so.
What about the hotel room?
These two are still here.
Did NPCs ever change their dialogue?
I have no idea who Joseph is. What?
Joseph? Well, actually, you should do the voice acting for Bastion.
Joseph? Well, I definitely didn't expect to see you here. I hope you're doing well.
Doing good enough, I guess. The Elroy's docked for a duration of the tournament. So I decided I might as well walk around and stretch my legs. Nothing's changed otherwise, though. Hope your rabid fans aren't offloading too much junk on me, kid.
No, but I have been caught up in a whole lot of other things. That sounds
I expect nothing less, but it's like I said, you're a magnet for trouble. Well, I'm gonna go back to enjoying my break while it lasts, then it'll be back to monotony for me. Stay sharp, guy. This tournament's bound to have attracted some crazy folks, so watch your back. Whoa, Bastion, it's you! It's been a while, hasn't it?
I remember you. You're the one that made that memory simulation, right? Wait, what? No, I don't. I don't want to stop insulting, but that thing was really buggy.
Yeah, that whole endeavor was a huge mess, but I'm doing better now. A good friend of mine gave me a ton of data on a different project I was working on. Have you heard of the elemental chip system? It's basically my flagship project now.
Can't say I have, but it sounds interesting.
It's an adaptable system that can augment a robot's abilities with experimental energy. Sort of like that double gear system, actually, but way more lightweight. I'm currently working on a second generation of those elemental chips. It's been super exciting. I'd love for my friend to give them a whirl, but now that I think about it, I haven't seen them in a while. But they're okay. And that guy was super nice when you get to know him. Kitty!
16 cups.
If he has more than 17 during a single game, we have issues. Oop, bonk. Oops. What? Hotel room. Hey there, Roll.
Badoop.
We can place our plushies.
She can sit on the fridge.
That's cute. Wait, we only have those 3? That's a lot of plushies, actually.
What, 3 of them?
555.
How do we only have 3? I could have sworn we gathered other ones.
Me too. Oh well.
Yeah, we have other ones. Is it just stuck on the costume page? Oh no, we only have 3! What? How do we only have... That's weird. Did it not save before? How can enemies sleep through this tournament? There's so much simulated danger. Stakes are medium.
Hotel security, that's me. I have to check you for any questionable possessions. With your permission, of course. Well, you don't have enough ranks to enter the finals, and you haven't exhausted every source of energy elements out there. Not enough tricks or tokens yet to afford anything. If you want to trade your tokens, see Chance Man at the casino. Now then, bolts. I don't know if 443 is enough, but I know there's still merch out there. Collecting plushies? Now that's a long-term hobby. Savor it, and... Oh, never mind. You don't smell the free fish. Cartman gave you an achievement booklet, I see. There's so much to achieve. That concludes the security check. Please allow 6 to 8 weeks to process the results and enjoy your stay. Let's go, Bastion! Durg.
A couple creepy, startling surprises I wasn't ready for. Then again, everything scares me. Fortunately, it's too dark to see anything scaring here. Like whatever is above me that's growling and drooling. No, I'm...
Hotel room is sold out fast, so I'm letting spectators sleep in my belly. The spiked platforms in there are comfy. Also, taxi service. Oh no, I don't leave this spot. I launch people's beds into the sky and hope for the best.
Ah, the mana level, the mana ways of... Anybody new here? Doesn't
it's Tomahawk Man. I've been exploring the world. I have to tell you about this new place I found. I visited the arena. It was amazing. If you like back-to-back battles, you'll love it. It's not just one big arena. It's a bunch of smaller themed arenas. You can get there by bus now. Look out, world. Now that I've seen the arena across the street, I'm ready to leave this city block.
Missing one element in here? Where is that at? I mean, I know where the secret is in this area, but it's just info dump.
Okay, well, let's find it.
I mean, we have to spend money on info stuff. It's kind of silly.
Okay. In that case, it can wait, probably.
Huh.
Huh.
Uh.
Go up and down again?
Maybe?
Well, the map's broken!
Why is the map broken? Let's...
There we
There it
go.
goes!
That was weird. That's all. Are you sure you read the pamphlet correctly? There's that.
Oh. Oh, I see. It glitched out.
What?
It had a different value under it from the somewhere else. Wait.
Yeah.
Not... No,
Sewers.
It's...
Hey, welcome to the obligatory sewers. You kinda expected me to be here, didn't you? My sewer aficionado status was enough to get me appointed as the usher for this part of the gauntlets. What an honor. I saw a fish come in here, so I hope this might be an aquarium. Let's get another sewer. Why can't we get any nice water areas? Don't be fooled by clean-looking water.
One sec.
The chemicals make all the filth invisible. I feel sorry for anyone down here who can't talk to you without opening their mouth.
You're being a pest. Come in. Do you need out? Come on. No. Come on. Why are you being a pest? What is it like they didn't hug a cat burger before?
Hunter Tower by Darky.
Wait, no, it's not. That's Oreo. Or is it Lucky? Well, that's Lucky. Don't eat it, you do with this. What the heck was that? Or maybe it was Lucifer? I don't know. Either way. Alrighty.
Hunter Tower by Darky. So this is that level, huh?
Oh no! Do you even want to try this? This is going to take like an hour.
I mean, we have to play it.
Okay. Welcome to Mr. Bones' Wild Ride! This is a level that almost drove me insane the last time I was doing this. It's unbelievable.
Is that why I got a 0 for fun?
Yes.
That's a lot of tokens. Alright, well, there's a skip gate. I guess we'll give part of this a shot.
It's... When you think it's over, it is not over. The last token is in an absolutely horrible spot, too, so it's like... Ow. It's in a dickish spot, or... like, really bad spot. The rest are fine, so I don't know why...
No weapons allowed, except Ice Wall, apparently.
Yep. And some rush stuff.
Ooh, plushie.
Well, there's a plushie.
That sound effect was from Battle Network.
Like, it's just arbitrary. Why would you only, give us... Like, why only give us frickin' Ice Wall? It doesn't even...
I don't know, but I am lagging the heck out right now. So you're on your own for a while.
Oh, no, not again. Like, I think the speedrun for this level is over half power. Like, the #1 score.
That's pretty nuts.
Ow, 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 ow. Why are you lagging? That's weird. Ah!
I don't know, too many animations in the background?
Maybe. Can I get some health, please? That's not health. I mean, yes, we need bolts, but...
There's some health.
Health. This might be the hardest level of frickin' Perfect, too.
Isn't that just because it's the longest level?
Yes. And it has the frickin' hardest boss as the final boss of it, too, so...
Have there not been any checkpoints yet?
This is some bad enemy placement, too. Like, it's hard to avoid damage. Ugh. Like, it's bad enough the level is, like, super long, but... Can you do this? Ow. Well, there goes that health. Like, it could... Oh, come on, how did that hit me? It could be more bearable if, like, you had weapons, but it doesn't allow you to have weapons, and I don't understand why they did that.
They had a very particular intended experience. Okay, yeah, I've seen enough.
Oh, this isn't even half of it. Oh, all the way at the beginning? Is that the beginning of the level?
This is not the beginning of the level.
Yeah, we don't need to do this. Trust me. It's over an hour long. It is not fun to go through the entire stage. It is horrible. Like, one section would have been fine, but yeah.
Did you know this level has taken several skilled folks upwards of an hour to complete? This is longer than the first half of Mega Man 2, they said, whatever that means. It's got missable tokens, too, so one playthrough might not be enough. Go left if you don't want to bother with all that. You know how forgetful I am about my keys? Well, I'm worse with tokens. Replayed this 5 times.
Ugh. Played through this entire level on stream. It was awful. It's not entirely badly made, but it's still like, why?
There's a point where we need to stop, and we've clearly passed it. But let's keep going and see what happens. Good grief, this level. I could just leave things with just Ace's wonderful comic image he made for me, but that isn't my style. Hunter Tower stitching it almost the entirety of Wily Tower into a single stage, with split paths, 5 tokens, a ridiculous variety of enemies and gimmicks. Level design is nowhere near memorable enough for the sheer length. Almost every weapon disabled. That many shield enemies without a shield-piercing weapon is a crime. Multiple different bosses and mini-bosses, and you're expected to do all this in one sitting. One sitting that takes half an hour or more. For the love of players and developers alike, don't make your levels this long, please. I can't in good conscience even call this fully functional since the load times were utterly asinine before the dev team got to it. I'll throw 2 bones toward this level. 1, there was an effort to label pits that up and down type enemies are going to emerge from. These labels aren't always super obvious, but they are there and I appreciate that. 2, the individual pieces, to be frank, aren't that horrible by themselves. If the level had just ended with Anchor, it would be ultimately unremarkable instead of sitting so close to the bottom.
Yeah. This dude heard you could submit only one level and took it personally.
Initially, I was just going to write the definition of the word excessive for this review and call it a day. On reflection, however, I don't think that would be completely fair since the core issue of this level is something I'm all too familiar with. Speaking from lessons learned via personal experiences with the previous context, you absolutely need to set a reasonable limit for your level. If your stage drags on for 45 minutes, it's going to be a slog to play through. It doesn't matter how flashy your gimmicks may be or how well designed your platforming challenges are. The unfortunate thing with this level is that if the individual sections are split up into their own stages, I can at least see them at least being rather decent. Nearly every weapon being disabled, barring Ice Roll and Rush, doesn't exactly help matters, since it makes dealing with most enemies a much more tedious and already way too long stage. A better color choice for the tiles would also help, as I found each section, save for the second one, a bit eye-straining at first. Overall, the stage gives me the impression it was put together while under a lot of pressure, as in it was made to be as big and branching as possible to make something impressive under the assumption there wouldn't be another chance to do something like this. Of course, I don't know the actual reason for it, but that's the vibe I'm getting from it. If I'm right and that was the case, however, trust me when I say you don't need to make an overly intricate or large or complex level just to make your mark. If you absolutely know you can make it work, then more power to you, but don't try to go all out just because you feel you need to. That advice extends to everyone who wants to participate in these types of contests in the future. The hunter becomes the prey. The stage just goes on and on, with really testing your patience with this one. A lot of the screens seem like they are filler, pad out with the current gimmick of the area or lazily placed shielded enemies. At least it does make use of the gimmicks in somewhat complex ways when they do appear, but they are few and far between. A lack of weapons also means dealing with airborne enemies. Adds to the slow pacing of the level. Having to try to lure them or get them to cooperate is sometimes not a straightforward task, seriously. Friggin' machine gun Joes and you have very little room to dodge around. Also, tons of split paths for some reason, and sometimes the rewards are questionable. Places where you expect a token would be, but you just get some screws. That makes token hunting even more obnoxious on this big old level. The one located in the Crusher section is the worst offender when it comes to questionable split paths, because you find a more difficult boss otherwise on the harder reach path because... Inconsistent volume with stage music. Audacity is free, please use it to adjust volume. They're fine renditions of the Genesis tracks in NES style otherwise. There's nothing inherently wrong with the level of this game unto itself. But for the purposes of this contest, 170 plus screens, the length of all the Robot Master levels in Mega Man 2 put together, is inappropriate, especially with hidden tokens, the small and unchanging weapon selection, and flashing backgrounds that strain the eyes. I get a Mega Man 10 vibe from the level design, which is good in that the architecture and object placement are deliberate, but bad in that I find Mega Man 10 to be stressful and tedious. Basically anything involving bottomless pits is either cheap or overly demanding, and the tiresome Joe encounters, Hammer Joe notwithstanding, aren't as complex or diverse as they appear. The lack of useful weaponry is my biggest complaint. Having more options for tackling these challenges would greatly improve the replay value and cut some of the frustration. For example, being able to force to fight dev kit bosses without their weaknesses and boring rooms. More power-ups are necessary to compensate for the distance between checkpoints. It's often hard to distinguish what's foreground, background, or an enemy. Directionality is majorly fuzzy with one of the branching paths. Several elements are introduced, sometimes in bad spots like the electrified blocks in the Susie fight, and then immediately forgotten. On the outside, there are plenty of good challenges. Moles, ballade missiles, falling rocks and turrets, fireways and medals. Needles used as enemy shields or hazards when falling, both hunter fights, etc. The secret paths are the right amount of sneaky, although the challenges start to blur together after a while. Changing the aesthetics and enemy or gimmick selection in each segment keeps the experience from getting stale. Again, the problem here isn't solely the length, it's that the variety of weapons and challenges is limited enough that the first playthrough starts to feel samey, let alone the second one when you poke around for what it inevitably missed. Oh, that's pretty cute. It's remaking Wily Tower 1. Removing the weapon seems very anti-Wily Tower, though. This is getting rather uninspired and generic, but it's okay. There's the boss. Anchor? Did that just transfer to Wily Tower 2? It's almost as long as the original boot game! What sociopath submits an entire Wily Castle to a level contest? There's nearly 200 other stages! It's over. It's finally over. God, I can never play that stage ever again. Maybe I can move on to the next. Why, you forgot the tokens. No! And the many split paths. No! You see, the ride never ends!
I made the same joke in the level before I even saw this comic. Yeah, Mr. Bones' Wild Ride! It is insane how long that level is.
I'm literally so happy to be here. It's not even for any particular reason. I'm not rooting for anyone in particular or looking forward to one specific thing. I'm just pumped to be here! Yes!
Stop. Cutman's new warehouse. Oh. Hi!
What? This is more than just the Cutman stage theme. They like added harmonics and stuff.
It's the Genesis one, I think.
Ah.
If they ever got Wily Wars working, I would actually like play it and beat it, because every time I played it, you could never get to like the actual. Okay, I guess it was waiting for you to activate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Bastion's health bar is that color, huh? I guess that... Actually, I guess that makes sense, yeah.
It's just based on the stripes color. The stripes are actually a different... Like, they're supposed to go, like, blue and fade into black, but it's kind of hard to get it to work. I might go back and do it like I did... Because, like, Susie and the Ruiz have, like, different colors for depths of color and all that I added. So I might do that with Bastion later, but... I don't know. But it's kind of funny that both his... Well,
I thought that was a platform.
I mean, it's kind of funny that his fur color and stripes changed to match his weapon, but... I mean, it fits a tiger, I guess.
It's just something the game put in him.
I hate the Guts Man platforms.
So does Dave.
Who is Dave?
The author of Bob and George. He has never beaten the original Mega Man because of those platforms.
I still want to know what Wolf Zero's comic was, because it was a really popular Mega Man sprite comic. But I don't know what his normal name is, or what he kind of left stuff. This was ages ago, and like Amatsu was still running an RP, like Secret Lair stuff. That's the one where we had frickin' Markiplier's brother playing in it. Which was before Markiplier was even a thing. Well, I mean, he was alive, but it's just like...
You can be alive without being a thing.
Like, I didn't even know that Tom had a brother. He was just... Tom was always showing off his comic, that's all I know. And me, Amatsu, and Prism Wind were in one of the things for it, so that's the other thing I know. I do not know a chapter. That comic has been going on longer than One Piece, I swear. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Ah! It's gonna suck. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Yeah.
You made it.
For Mega Man skills. Joe. Joe, please. Joe, please. You know what? I already did this Buster only before, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, thank you. Random doofus head. I don't know what they're called!
I think they're just called footholders.
Footholders. Aya!
Sweet. What?!
Oh no, I hate these things. Oh, they do so much damage.
and it respawned. Alright, Cutman time.
He's weak to the Metal Buster, yes.
Not particularly weak to it, though.
It's kind of hard to dodge around when he's aiming at two people. I can't lure out his attacks. Quit humping the corner and taunting us, jeez. Cut man! Now I got your power! getting thrown off by you playing Mega Man sometimes. Kaboom!
Victory! High five!
Intentional high five, yeah. Type B backup fighter. Oh, wait.
We missed a token? What?
Where did we miss a token? Oh, I know where it's at. Well, trying to pull a shield run through the place was not a good idea. Ah! Yeah! I remember where it's at now. I hate these flying guys on the stage, man.
Yay! Chivo!
Ooh. Still wonder how we unlocked the dragon guy costume. Because I unlocked it while playing through that long stage.
Is it Rowan Mithril, by any chance?
I think so, yes.
Nice. Whoa!
What, do you know who that is?
Yeah, he's a Mega Man Let's Player. He has done all of the Robot Masters Buster only, or at least as much as he's able.
Oh.
Without getting hit.
Oh! Okay. He's a little like me with that. I've gotten a bunch of no-hit. Not every game I've no-hit, but man, Mega Man 9 and 10 I no-hit, because that was an achievement. Oh, that was awful too. That was an awful achievement to get. Well, nah, that's the level where the thing is at least.
Okay.
Or the area where the thing is at. Yeah, so it waits for both of us to cross before the flag goes off, I guess.
Got dumped. Yeah, that's a pretty clever place to hide it.
What?
Wait, it's not in the hole on the left?
It's on this one up here.
Ah. Ooh! Saved it! Do we have to finish the stage now?
Yeah. Yay, health!
Oof.
Why am I still out of... Wait. I'm still out of energy? Oh, whatever.
Oof! I blame lag for that.
Oh, you climb on the... I can't see through. Cat, a kitty cat, who's in the way. I can't see. Sweetie.
Nice. Hey, new record.
I guess he's weak to that, which is kind of weird. There we go.
My other half and I had a fight. Now they refuse to even look at me. Can you talk some sense into them? Blue girl. Boomo! Oh wait, we didn't read the reviews. I love seeing that little lad, Element Man, wandering around these gauntlets. Just seeing that tiny gremlin tumble around and making it through despite all it all makes me want to root for him. An attempt to revitalize Cutman's level? I can see the idea, if nothing else, but for the purposes of the contest, this was flawed from the outset, as ideally you'd make something a story run thing. Putting aside the creativity weaknesses, this warehouse has a ton of enemies, and no idea what to do with half of them. It counted 17 different types of enemies here, and the only ones that consistently stuck out as semi-interesting were the super cutters and flying shells. The Susies were a little different from normal, but mostly because they were placed in odd spots that made it harder to tell where they actually move. Everything else is simple challenges against a largely drab gray, which is neither fun nor even that well designed. The aesthetic in particular is a sticking point with me. I get that Cutman's tiles can be awkward to work with, but those indents exist on his tile set because a pure gray wall isn't interesting to look at. It's not actually that bad at the start, which coincides with the level's stronger efforts to be interesting. But as the aesthetic takes a dive, so too does everything else. Considering we're talking about Mega Man 1 aesthetics, this managed to be especially weak. I'll give credit to the token rooms and the flying shell implementation. Those are actually kind of fun. The rest of it, though, this needs work for sure. I'd suggest picking a smaller selection of enemies, finding ways to adjust the scenarios through terrain or grouping. Quality over quantity, that's my advice. This is a very lacking level, to put it mildly. So lacking that I need water. Ugh.
Alright.
Ow! Ooh!
The enemies are placed in the basic configurations that pose little or no threat, with some exceptions for the first few screens. And really, most of it comes from the bladders. Hopefully not bladders. I can only really name two parts of this stage that stood out to me in some way. The small section with the two metals, and a rotating super cutter. And the vertical section with the respawning flying shells. Both of these require a more thoughtful approach. And quick reaction for the player in order to get through unscathed. At least in comparison to the rest of the level, I feel this stage would have been a lot better if it had focused more on moments like that. What might have also helped is if the gimmicks had a greater presence here. Guts lifts, drop platforms, and a single foot holder only appear for one section each before swiftly disappearing for good. Makes me wonder if there were more sections meant to include these gimmicks, but were never finished. When I think about it, that's a good way to sum up the stage. It feels unfinished. Nowhere is that more exemplified in the backgrounds. What happened to the details here? Aside from drop shadows below the ceiling, the background is almost always a flat shade of gray once you get halfway through. In short, if this had more sections, like the flying ones, feature the flying cutters and super cutter, this would probably turn out to be a pretty decent stage. I think that was just very bland.
Out with the old, in with the old? It's a remix stage, I guess? More appropriately would be a reimagining stage. Or rather, it's just a stage that happened to be featuring some Cutman elements as well as some others. It does some neat things like making the 8-way shot enemies relevant to the stage layout. Otherwise, mostly just resembles the original Cutman stage, with not much added in, such as the octopus batteries and shield attacker barely putting up any.
Yes, I have a crap load of frickin' boba tea mixes here. I got from what was my work. I don't work there anymore, but even though apparently they're waiting for me to come in, I feel like, man, my last paycheck was supposed to come in go in the mail. I haven't been able to drive lately. But apparently he's keeping it there to make sure that I have to talk to him so he can try to convince me to come back. Which is kind of a dickish move, but it's like, whatever. But dude, all you have to do is not be a jerk. I know he's from New York. Well, actually, he's from Jersey. But still, it's like, it doesn't mean you gotta be a jerk. It's just a stereotype. A lot of people from Jersey are not jerks. Most people I met are not jerks.
I'm from New Jersey.
Let's not. I'm mixing up my water and real fruit syrup. That's one thing I like about this, the tea mixes like that, is that this is real fruit syrup. Like, it's extracted from real fruits. It's not like corn syrup stuff. Alright. I got my drink.
Alright.
I refreshed my water too.
I can't scroll down.
What's up?
I can't scroll down. I've been stuck here for a while.
As I said, I was getting my own water refill.
However, one major difference from the original stage is that this is no longer really beginner-friendly with the conditional, more complicated gimmicks. That's the main problem I have for the stage, so I'm not really sure what the goal is of this. Is it trying to expand on using the existing stage as a base, create a hard mode version of the stage? The guts lifts are a bit annoying in the sense they don't really sync with each other, so you end up with times where you have to wait on the same platform to cycle through until the next platform is a better spot. Really? There's also a long stretch of the level that is just a gray background, which is not really aesthetically pleasing and uncannily resembles a default Game Maker room. And a random lone footholder that is just there. To end things off is a regular, unmodified Cutman fight, and is not really that exciting, and just further conflicts with whatever vision this entry was going for. I would expect the fresh take on Cutman to take place at a lumber mill with log and buzzsaw gimmicks, or incorporate the scissor enemies from Mega Man 9 and Challenger from the future, or merge ideas from the NES, Game Boy, and powered-up versions. I assume this level attempts the latter, but it's hard to tell. The pleasant music, perfectly serviceable graphics, and disappointingly unremarkable boss fight are the only obvious ties to Cutman. I see a number of assets that have appeared in at least one official version of Cutman's level. However, I see many additional assets that don't seem to fit. A lack of focus is a big issue here. We only two similar styles of moving platform and two similar styles with Sniper Joe. There are enough enemy types without throwing Batten and Squirm into the mix. Footholder and Yoku blocks might as well not... There were Yoku blocks?
Yeah, it was in the token area. Stop kicking my hand.
Forget how everything connects to Cutman. I barely understand how one screen connects to the next. Without a clear gameplay theme or sense of meaningful challenge progression, this feels like a general Mega Man 1 remix run amok. A few screens show some promise. The meth halls right before the first Guts platform are fine. Beacon Crash platform is decent, and Flying Shell and Drop platform is nice and tricky. Most everything else is messy, uninteresting, or familiar to a fault. The room with 3 progressively easier Mega Man 2 Sniper Joes blocking hallways and guarding ladders hurts my soul.
I can't. Sweetie, please. I can't see it.
If you clear out all the moving parts, the structure is pretty sturdy. The architecture is acceptable with only one glaring flaw, a low gaping pit where there should be a section divider. Importantly, checkpoints are the right distance apart. Aside from a major redesign of everything challenge-related, a couple power-ups are all the place really needs.
I need to use... Ow! I need to use my arm! Let go! Let go of my arm!
The stage is, obviously enough, an attempted remake of one of the more basic stages of the original game, and in an attempt to flesh out the stage, the final result is a grab bag of generic assets and enemies, placed with such frequency that there is never any time to breathe. That most of these enemies are incredibly tedious to kill removes any sense of flow that the original Cutman stage had. While I understand why you were using the original tile set, the first game's backgrounds have aged poorly, and as a result, unless you expand and innovate on them, the result is a fairly lifeless and ugly stage, especially a significant amount of bright blank background. The rooms of Crashman platforms are used quite intelligently, and I do not mind the hidden offshoots of tokens, although a clear visual cue for a second would have been nice. Honestly, I enjoy the original 1987 stage more. I thought Mega Man came out in '86.
Maybe the American release or European release? I don't know where they're from. Disobedience of superior machines. What? That is a lot of token. Oh no. I haven't played this Oh no! Why? Why are we moving so fast?
Overdrive mode activated. Double jump unlocked. Double speed unlocked. Respawn speed increased. Enemy power and speed up.
We have...
I can't.
Why?
I can't. I can't.
Why? Oh man. What? Why?
I can't. There is too much lag.
Is lag going on?
Yes. See? I barely tapped the stick. Or the D-pad.
What? Garbage. I think we're gonna skip this.
Yes, I agree.
I am not going to do it, and I'm going to be the guy level. Screw off. People always do this. Why? Why do people always do this in these contests? That's not fun.
The judges deem this level absurdly difficult for most players. If you want to play it anyway, go ahead. Oh, jump board's too high up, you say? Guess what? You can double jump in this level. You want to try it. Unlike me, you don't have ankles made of brittle fiberglass. Do you know why the break dash tutorial teaches you to use invincibility frames to jump on spikes? This level, that's why. Yeah, all because of one token that expects you to know that, and the rest don't make my skin crawl any less.
But we couldn't use it in there. Well,
fortunately for you, you probably pick it up later in the level. Fortunately for you, we typically had all the levels collectibles here. Take them if you need them.
Yes, we are not going to do an I want to be the guy level. Screw you.
I'm not going to do a level with a scrolling cloud background. It destroys my frame rate. I don't know what I was expecting when I opened that monitor, but it certainly wasn't what I got. Double jump? Okay, that's cool. Very base. Increased movement speed? I've enjoyed speed-based levels before. Decreased respawn time? Wait, why is that necessary? All enemies get a significant power and speed boost? Yeah, that didn't bode well at all. To be blunt, I don't like this level. I really don't. My first playthrough, I absolutely hated it, but nowadays I just plain don't dislike it. Boosted mobility is fun, and increased respawn time is an appreciated level of consideration, but dear goodness, the level of spikes and heavy damage in this place. The end result is beyond the bounds of what most Mega Man games call acceptable difficulty. It's more of a good Mega Man level and more of a bad Kaizo level.
Yes.
The token rooms in the Metal Man fight are best examples of that notion. The tokens were in a very literal difficulty spike. One slight twitch too far, and you can end up resetting, and after 20-some odd resets on the same room, I was just kind of done with it. As for Metal Man, I'm not convinced it's possible to beat him without taking damage. His bullet hell seems to lack some finesse. But why a bad Kaizo level specifically? Well, my understanding of Kaizo is that it's more than just annoyingly hard. It's clever and cheeky in how it makes you want to scream. This level is neither clever nor particularly cheeky. The puzzle designs are pretty basic, and sections dedicated purely to the combat border on mindless boss fights being the exception. Combined with some bland sky visuals and a song whose intro rapidly gets grating, the only thing that really landed with me is the respawn time. Everything else seems to go back to the drawing board. The general idea of this level is fine. Small sections involving weapon challenges with things like increased speed or jump height can make for some fun gameplay. Unfortunately, that's not really the case with this stage. The biggest issue here is that most of the challenges aren't particularly interesting. If anything, I actually found most of them to be pretty boring. There's a few that manage to stand out, such as a laser and ice wall setup, along with a break dash segment. Even with the faster speed and double jump, though, most of these challenges just didn't stand out to me. Some of them, like the Thunder Beam and Water Shield sections, only focus on the bare minimum of what the weapons are capable of. A lot of the weapons have some form of unique interactions, like how Thunder Beam can power certain gimmicks or how Water Shield can put out fires. So, to not even see those aspects acknowledged in a stage like this is a little disappointing. The token raising, I'll have a different problem. They're way too difficult. The precision required to get through most of them is nothing short of ridiculous. Granted, I like the fact that they're always at the starter segments where the checkpoints are located. That combined with a quicker respawn rate does alleviate the frustration factor a bit, but it doesn't exactly change the fact that most of these rooms are overly brutal. Here's Hearing the first few seconds of the music over and over again after each death didn't really help things either. Lastly, there's the two modified dev kit bosses to contend with. Splash Whelm is at least tolerable despite her increased firing rate. Metal Man, however, is just inexcusable. The Toho-style bullet hell attacks wouldn't be so bad if not for his damage output, which is enough to kill you in roughly 4 or so hits. It's a pretty frustrating climax to a stage with a nice concept but a fumbled execution. Time to proceed in a moderately quicker state of maneuvering. Ow! I think the creator took a peek at escape sequence in MaGMML 2, noticed the gimmick of making Mega Man super stacked in mobility, and proceeded to create a stage here with a similar premise. But the catch here is it requires severely precise platforming. Kind of doesn't really work in the context of the contest because the player isn't going to be used to the sudden increase in their movement after going through tons of other stages. Got something stuck in my teeth.
There's no music here. It's only the first 10-second loop of it because you're gonna keep getting insta-killed by everything. You have the room reset constantly. I mean, points where they're due. It is merciful that the death animation is omitted completely, but I'd rather the platforming challenges were not made so incredibly strict that they led to this many deaths to begin with.
A lot of the fun of going fast just whittles away really quickly when the stage is actively designed in ways to prevent it. Just to put it in a picture of how precise these jumps can be, there exist mini spikes for crying out loud. Then comes Metal Man. Yeah, let's also make his fight a bullet hell mess. Never mind the fact that the increased mobility makes a very huge detriment to slipping through the tiny gaps between bullets. No focus mode to help you here. Oh, and he has a desperation attack, of course. Just E-tank through the fight. Oop.
Ouch,
My feed froze up.
It froze up? Oh no. I know there's an audience for fast-paced, puzzle-oriented, precision-driven gameplay, but I also know that players need time to adjust to new concepts and mechanics. The adjustment period here is not unlike the one you have after falling asleep in kindergarten and waking up at the controls of an airplane. The warm-ups are practice exercises. Success relies entirely on a combination of pre-existing expertise, excessive trial and error, and dumb luck. Accelerating the respawn process is considerate, but it's no substitute for fair and balanced level design. Simply eliminating the increased movement speed would have made this far more manageable and nudged it away from the fringes of how much modification is too much for this contest. At least the segments are short and separated by checkpoints. There's infinite ammo. The jumps are used purely for atmosphere. The level may be grueling, but it's not cruel. I beg to differ. The graphics have a lot of character, but rely too heavily on a scrolling background for interest. The music fits well, and progress is nice from the main theme to boss theme, but dying means restarting the music, which means gradually going insane from listening to the first 2 measures on repeat. Misplaced Geary, sudden access to the Buster after respawning, and Water Shield's conspicuous inability to absorb boss projectiles solely to technical polish. Not a fan of the boss, but Break Dash mitigates the pain. Worst parts are the pixel perfect. Never want to do this again, Spark Chaser and Water Shield tokens. And the best parts are the ones that creatively explore what these special weapons can do. Ice Wall and Break Dash are the standouts with their clever moments with the Tornado Blow, Laser Trident, Magnet Beam as well. Someone tries to shout Extreme! It comes out as, I have too many ideas and not enough of them work! Is it still frozen for you?
I closed. There we go. Despite the nature of this stage, I don't dislike it. It has its moments and highlights and doesn't really get into the realm of frustrating. It's almost entirely instant death. That is the idea. The time between dying and respawning is basically nullified, and that goes a long way to making this stage playable.
Ow, ow. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, ow.
Cat.
Let me use my hand.
And I definitely like some of these segments. The Ice Wall, Break Dash, and to a lesser extent the Tornado Blow segment are creative and feel very satisfying to best. But the stage is quantity over quality, and so many of the areas just come down to uncreative, just kill these mini bosses with a weapon, lamau. The Magnetic Shockwave section is about the worst for this. By trying to shoehorn every weapon in, you have a stage with serious nothing going on half the time. My first time playing back when the judging first started, I found the tokens pretty frustrating. This is one of the last stages I ended up reviewing last though, and I didn't get that same feeling. Not sure how to count this one. I guess I understood what these are going for pretty quickly this time. I did not like how the ability to double jump was introduced. Feels really lazy to just shove the explanation off into sign, and heaven help if the player misses that. The boss fight against Metal Man was just bad. Oof, man. If there's an intended strategy for reliably dodging the shots, I just don't see it. Use weakness, down an E-tank, finish. If I had one absolutely worst aspect to this level, it's from an aesthetic standpoint. Yes, it's rather ugly, and the weird resizing bugs me in a major way, but that is not what I'm talking about. Whilst you were good at minimizing downtime, you forgot an important detail. Oh my god, the music resets?! I have no idea if the track is any good. Barely a few minutes in, I had to mute it. Good god, that was so obnoxious. In the end, the stage is basically trying to merge two MaGMML 2 stages and failing to live up to either.
Okay, what did you do? Hold on. Kitty did something.
Boom.
Fine boom. Fine boom. That's what Kitty did. Why is there lag going on here? What the heck? I don't have anything else open, do I? Hold on. Let me close Windows Explorer. Let me close... You know what? We're going to close Firefox. That might help. Is there anything else open that shouldn't be? Game bar! Microsoft... Why is Microsoft Edge open? Close. 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 Oh, you can't close Microsoft Edge. Microsoft, why? Ow, 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 ow. Bastion is being mobbed by a girl kitty, apparently, here. Let me alone!
Ah! This place is safe to host a gauntlet in? This isn't exactly a swimming pool. Alright, humans can get down here to these simulations. Who's in charge of this place?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh! What is this from?
Never heard it before. Yoku blocks in the rain. Lovely. Good thing we got MaGMML, yeah.
Is there some... You're giving tigers a bad name! And they have fleas! Ah! Oh, okay, it doesn't skip the entire level? Alright. I mean, this isn't Hunter Tower levels of ah! Or that I want to be the guy stage we just skipped. And yes, the sprite here I made made myself. I have a custom sprite for Surreal Canine 2, but unfortunately, 2 people using custom sprites crashes the game at the moment. I've heard this music before, but I don't remember what it's from.
Wouldn't be this guy a 7, would it?
It is. This is Disgaea music, isn't it? Yeah, I was like, I heard this before. Why is there only rain on your face? You poor guy. How many times do we need to kill this dude?
All the times, apparently.
I think this is the Skya music, yes.
No, you're right about Malevolent Rider. You're right about how skip gates work. We're doing a level anyway, I guess. Or at least he is. I can't because, wait, what? Oh, do you have to go down? No? What?
Oh. Well, you have
what hit
energy.
Me?
Oh.
Oh. Oh, we have to ride the platforms. Did you see what happened? Because I didn't see what happened.
There's...
Oh, right. Well, no time to react. Alright, well, my parsec feed is a slideshow right now, so, yeah.
Bitrate killer! Please don't tell me this is not going to be enough energy to go through this. I hate you. Wow!
I guess you need to ride the mini-boss platforms.
I guess it's an interesting idea, but... Why is it so long?
To keep you from using Rush Jet.
Well, I'm in trouble.
I'm glad the rain stopped.
Why? Why? This is trash.
Yeah, okay.
This is like... Wow, why?
Oops. Okay, yeah, let's skip the level. This is dumb.
I'm going to say, fuck you. Wow, what an absolutely terrible thing to do. That is, no wonder there's a skip gate. That is freaking awful. One single screen is all you needed of that, at the most.
Did you know mini-bosses hurt? Did you know a lot of mini-bosses in one stage really hurt? Did you also know long, repetitive ladder crimes where you get telefragged by spikes hurt like the dickens? Anyway, that's why it's level skippable. I had to get punctured in 256 different places to verify it. You're welcome.
Oh, apparently we almost made it through. But that ladder is unexcusably terrible. That was freaking terrible. Wow, look at those scores.
Oh, super slow loading rainstorms and super epic music made for an unusual first impression. Smidge broken though. I'd advise less rain in the future. As for the level, I'll grant the many varieties of Tri-Castle is an interesting concept, and some of them, like Toadman's Castle or the Ride Over the Abyss, can be interesting ideas. Albeit very awkward. It's a lucky thing that Tri-Castle struggles with Kaizo U. Unfortunately, the majority of unique ones are placed badly. Most of them lose their cannon fire to a roof, which makes them complete non-entities. And others, namely the Twin Tri-Castle, are a bit of a mess to fight. Combined with... Or I still level doing nothing memorable?
Yeah, apparently that's what we're supposed to do. It's just, that was awful.
And this largely misses the mark. That being said, there's one sticking point I have to discuss because it's beyond just being boring. The ladder castle was especially poorly executed. The fight has a ton of desync issues, which can make it difficult just to hit the thing. And if the ladder castle hits you, you're dead and you have to redo that entire super long ladder climb just to get another shot. It's excruciating, simply put, and I strongly advise anyone fighting this castle to break out Spark Chaser or Tornado Blow. It is unfortunately the most memorable part of the level, and combined with the other issues already present, it's a huge blemish on something that could have been interesting. I don't think I've seen a level that goes from meh to frustrating like this in quite some time. Everything starts off pretty basic, with the only major stick point being a somewhat tricky jump required to get into the token and not fall into the pit afterwards. So far, it's nothing really worth writing home about. And then the platform riding section and most of what follows happens. Using the Tri-Castle's platforms as more just a method for hitting a mini-boss is a neat idea. However, the execution here leaves so much to be desired. It's basically one straight shot peppered with a few enemies that are guaranteed to knock you into the pit unless you keep shooting, while also staying to the left of the platform to avoid the hoo-hoos rocks from above. Immediately after, we come to a long ladder section with Yoku spikes. While I'm thankful for the inclusion via the indication via the Yoku blocks on the side, it doesn't make this part any less tedious. Then we have the Tri-Castle fight at the top. It's this part right here that pushes the level overboard into becoming frustrating. The Yoku spikes strung throughout the limited space you have to work with is bad enough, but if you get hit by the Tri-Castle with exploding shots and happen to fall down the ladder, you die and have to do the entire ladder climb all over again. Granted, you can sort of cheese this with a combination of Magnetic Shockwave and Spark Chaser. It still doesn't change the fact that this part is overly punishing and quickly turns tedious thanks to the checkpoint placement. And after that, the stage just kind of fizzles out. Past that high point of frustration, the rest of the level doesn't really have any major noteworthy parts to it. Since the rest of the Tri-Castles don't add much to the sections they're placed in, they don't even do that much for the boss fight. And while I can appreciate at least the gesture of wanting to spice up vanilla Toadman's fight with gimmicks to make it a bit harder, at the end of the day that's a really tall task to pull off successfully, even for a seasoned level designer. Tri-Castles, and they're out for vengeance! A level where it's just about fighting a somewhat versatile mini-boss with varying setups each time is not a bad idea, but I can't say that the majority of these fights are very well thought out. The biggest offender. That one where you have to fight on the ladder is... why? So the hole you came from becomes an instant death pit due to the room being treated as a boss fight, so you die if you get hit by any of its projectiles and knocked off. And if that's not enough, there are also Yoku spikes placed precisely where you have to shoot the other two eyes from. If you fail this encounter, you have to do a long climb of waiting for the Yoku spikes to get out of the way, each and every single time. That gets tedious fast. There's also that awful section where you need to ride on the Tri-Castle platform across many screens, where the small platform sizes pretty much means, you guessed it, instant death from any damage source knocking over. At least that one is over quick if you know where all the hazards are coming in. The boss fight is okay, I guess. It's not offensive or anything. Just Toadman with a little more going on. A series of increasingly involved Tri-Castle battles is a fun premise. I especially like double Tri-Castle and teaming up with Toadman. But because the non-Tri-Castle sections are all over the place in terms of length, difficulty, and focus, it doesn't feel like everything is working together to make Tri-Castle the star of the show. Especially Proto-Man, funny though he may be. The bombastic music makes that even more apparent. Metals guarding a ledge are hardly epic. The visuals are functional but monotonous. I would like the progression from bright, clear sky to dark, ominous thunderclouds. There's also a more distinctive tile set to give the level a better sense of place. Rain appearing on top of the health bar is indicative of the myriad minor polish shortcomings.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
That's because our health bars are in the sidebar.
Oh, yeah.
Riding a Tri-Castle platform to some other destination would be brilliant if it, or A, clear that's what you're supposed to do, and B, impossible to strain yourself by destroying Tri-Castle with special weapons, and C, more interesting payoff than standing around doing nothing for 25% of the total screen count. I'm sorry, but the ladder segment has to be one of the most poorly conceived challenges in this contest. Spending forever memorizing the timing and placement of untelegraphed instant death across multiple identical screens with no distinguishing features whatsoever, then fight a mini-boss that at the very least needs a boss gate to enter for safety's sake. I can only assume that Susie's wasting her time at the checkpoint or if they're fill your magnet beam energy. It's a shame these issues are so prominent because I can see a mini-boss centric level being really successful. The creativity is there and
Okay.
honestly the challenge design is partially there, but much more planning and playtesting needed to happen.
Alright, sweetie, let me get her out because she's dinging nonstop. How many times you gotta ding?
I'm going to keep this fairly short. Most of the stage is mediocre. It's all very dull, rather ugly, and for the most part it just exists. Now to be fair, that segment, which is inspired by the Super Mario Bros. 2 Birdo ride, that was actually rather neat. I don't know how it gelled together given the enemy mix, so it was a fair and reasonable challenge.
See, I had to wrangle them to get them outside before I started streaming. And now they're just going to want to go outside because I'm streaming. Did you read any of that already? Or?
I read the first screen of it. Unfortunately, Tri-Castle gets old. Rather fast. Word to the wise, Magnetic Shockwave one-shots this thing. You're welcome. That said, oh man, wow do I despise the Yoku ladder segment, but I'll give you props, it's actually a cool idea. But it's very hard to parse what the hell is going on. I think using Yoku spikes instead of blocks would have helped this, but it goes on for too long, and it soon becomes an utter nightmare thanks to one thing. Tri-Castle! They certainly get their titular revenge here. Outside of hiding right at the bottom of the screen, if the lower doors make their move immediately, you're dead. It's very little room to survive and pretty much guaranteed to kill the player the first few times. And then you go climbing again! Fun! Honestly, the Yoku spikes here are even harder to parse than the ladder. Or you changed up the tell. Why'd you go and do that? Oh boy. The rest of the stage goes back to dull metal stuff again. It exists. The Toadman fight also exists. It's just too stupid to try and fight him and Tri-Castle at the same time, so the good old Magnetic Shockwave in tow becomes just another Toadman fight. Surprising just how much goodwill 3 or so screens can lose a stage, huh? It was tough getting this sewer to look presentable for the gauntlet, but we managed to pull it off! I almost punctured like 18 different sewage pipes. Probably not optimal.
Discharge!
Dischargey!
Nothing to find in this level.
Quagga! Whoops.
This is Shatterhand, I think, music. And now the dinging to come back inside begins. Even though they were just out.
Oh no!
Why? That was absolutely freaking terrible placement for that. Wow! Hold on, let me get the dogs back in, even though I just let them out. This is why I let you out before I started streaming, dogs. Huskies, man, huskies. It's because they're huskies. That is exactly why.
Bulbous.
They must be pests. All right.
Yeah!
Lag! Wow. Wow. Some jerk enemy placement here. Ow. Why?
What?
Why? Why? Just why? Why? So we both need to perfect this. Wow.
Or I can die. Vernon, you can die, I guess.
Oh, this level sucks. Why would you do that?
Ah!
It's... Yeah, I'm just gonna get myself through here. This is super annoying level. Wow. There's some terrible enemy placement in this level. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's not... The enemy placement isn't here to be done well. It's done to be a dick. Eh. I mean, enemy placement should be a challenge to the player, but not, like, unfair. If you're being an asshole, then you're not making a Mega Man game, you're making a I want to be the guy. Like that! That is freaking stupid! This doesn't make a level good when you have, like, surprise death. Just makes it frustrating, and needlessly so.
Whoops!
I'm back! Yes, enemies at frickin' conveyor placement that can knock you into the pit, like, instantly. If you get hit at all. This level is beyond frustratingly... Like... Come on! No, no, no. Ah!
Oh hey, I despawned the floor thing.
Well,
look, another plushie. Oh,
Too
no
bad
one up, huh? Really? Ow. No checkpoint?
apparently not. As for why, who knows?
It's a fake!
Again, we're talking about absolutely dickish frickin'
Oh, hey, there's a checkpoint.
enemy placement. Like, this is just... It's not for good level design, it's just, again, to be an asshole. And that's not good level design, unless you're specifically making a game, like I Want to Be the Guy, or like... something, but you still need to have, like... I mean, I Want to Be the Guy was a special case. It's famous, sure, but, like...
Whoops. It was also a parody of overly difficult games that somehow got popular on its own merit.
Yes, and I beat it on, like, the hardest mode possible to beat it, which was not a fun time. I will never, ever do that again. I was like, I'm a gamer, I'll challenge myself. Ugh.
You're like an M-Tank.
But is it real?
Good question. Yeah, I guess it is
so.
real.
This level is awful. I mean, we're at the bottom tiers, so of course, but come on, man.
Yeah.
Is there some reason that people just... Why do people always, like, lean towards being assholes in video game competitions? And, like, make your own level stuff? Like, Mario Maker is a prime example of that. The amount of people that make, like, awful Kaizo levels is ridiculous.
A good troll level, on the other hand, is absolutely a work of art. That's not this.
You mean the infamous Japanese game show one?
There was one that made it into a German museum.
A troll level made into a German museum?
Yeah.
I hate this level so much. This level is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't even skip it. This level is just... Again. Like, this isn't a make your own... Like, this isn't a make a good Kaizo level. This is a make a good Mega Man level. But just is not. Don't be a dick to the player for... Just because it's not good game design, okay? Kaizo is... I mean, Kaizo does have, like, puzzles and stuff, but it's purposely for people that try to challenge themselves on things, and it's still not exactly... It goes against good level design on purpose. But it still has its own rules, which this really isn't following. Oh my god. Please be a checkpoint.
Rude!
This level so... I hate this so much. Why isn't there a skip button for this terrible troll level? I hate this so much. This level is awful. I don't want to play frickin' troll levels. It's screw you, man! I Want to Be the Guy trolling is not good game design. Oh, yeah, skip. I don't know how often I'll use the skip thing. I've beaten a few levels that had the skip teleporter, but... Oh, I'm about to die. And I don't have any health. This is awful.
Part of that is my fault because I keep falling into spikes.
really despise this level. It's just...
Oh, I can't slide under that. Oops.
Whoa, lag. Well... I hate this level. And I gotta play it through on my own, too. Yay. And the lag from you dying killed me. Because when you die, it stops all my inputs, and then I just die at certain points. Ugh.
Rude spike drop.
Why is there still not a checkpoint?
There's
Thanks.
one. I really should have seen that coming. Oh, look, gotcha.
That helps, I guess. I didn't even hit the frickin' jump button there. I loathe this stage, man. Oh, this stage is just terrible. Come on, dude. I mean, it's just being a dick to be a dick. I mean, it's better than the earlier stage in regards to, like, that sort of thing, but... And again, there's just no way I could avoid that. Well... I'm not sure if I trust that, but...
It's real. Hey, checkpoint, please. Yes, okay. Alright, who are we fighting?
I don't know.
I have no idea who that is. Apparently he Hadokens. Boss fight theme is from Mega Man 10.
Yeah, he sure deals a crap load of damage.
Apparently he's super weak to that, though.
Well, at least there's that.
Diffuse Man, huh?
Diffuse Man, huh? I hate
another Splash Woman.
That we get a duplicate out of like how many plushies? I know electric stages have a reputation for difficulty, but this one goes too far. This Charge Man stage has 3 interests. Instant death, I jump to death, so can make the challenges are doable, but they're often paired with sparse checkpoints, being a lot of retries. It also means there's not a whole lot of variety. So the whole level blends together. That's not to say the level is thoughtless, as it definitely tries to do interesting things with what it's got, such as a slide tunnel of dodging elect beams, or having 2 different varieties of electric gobioles, but nearly every section kills you on failure. The majority ceases to be memorable. The only exception is when the level goes for cheat tactics. The elections are one thing, as they beat better telegraphs, or really just telegraphs at all. There's also an invisible spike or two, which I really hope is an accident, but the real issue is the power-up traps. Yeah, goodness, the lone one-up met serves no other purpose than to waste your time with a risk. And that, Yashichi, sending you back to the beginning of the stage for too far is cruel and unusual. Wow. Thankfully, there's a shortcut partway through, which I also figure is unintentional. And the times in the stage don't have any nasty traps attached. But it doesn't do enough to alleviate the frustration from everything else. After all, is this show's random improvement? Somewhat. Love the establishing shot of his boss gate. And I'm so glad the level delivered on the boss fight as it promised. It's a pity the boss himself is a mixed bag. The main problem is typical shield issues. This Charge Man spends too much time behind that barrier for how much damage he does. Combined with his speed, the end result is about as frustrating as the main level. Maybe you discover that every weapon except Thunder Beam and Buster ignores his shield, earning him a non-issue. On one hand, the surprise breather is nice. On the other hand, it really feels like he's just punishing Buster usage, not rewarding intuitive weapon usage. Still, he's better off than this level. A little rebalancing, I think he'll be fine.
Let's get the good out of the way first. The aesthetics here are pretty decent. It's nothing visually outstanding or unique, but for the most part, everything looks and sounds alright. Unfortunately, that's where most of my praise for this level ends. The actual design of the stage is very rough. But once you get past the first hallway, a lot of the remaining rooms feel too cramped and cluttered for their own good. The entire sections wouldn't be that bad if not for the fact that nearly every platforming challenge is surrounded by spikes and pits. The frustration factor is very high here, partly due to lack of checkpoints, but more so thanks to the sheer amount of gotcha traps. The Elections are among the worst offenders since they pop out of thin air and tend to appear while you're in mid-jump. Another one comes in the form of a fake 1-up, which is placed in such a way that you're guaranteed to take a hit if you go for it. The spikes surrounding it would also be a problem if the 2 spikes to the right of it actually had any collision. That, along with a set of invisible spikes at the end of a hallway later on, is where the functionality took a hit. However, the worst moment of the stage has to be the one involving the Yashichi at the end. If you slide through the gap to collect it, you'll end up transitioning to a much earlier screen in the stage. While you can use the retry button to completely bypass this, it's still no excuse for this part being the way it is. Beyond that bit of frustration, not much else of this stage actually stood out to me in the end. Since the level doesn't evolve beyond slightly different variants of dodge or react to this or get pushed into instant death, most of it comes across as pretty samey and boring after a while. I can only really point to a few moments that do anything remotely different, mainly the ones that involve time jump to hit Sniper Joes between electric surges. The last and probably the most notable part of this level would be the boss. While it has a cool design, I can't say I was a fan of the actual fight. High damage output combined a little with no telegraphs on his moves makes for a very annoying battle. What doesn't help is that he seems to keep his shield up for an arbitrary amount of time, making Buster only duels way more trouble than it's worth. Granted, every other weapon also pierces his shield except Thunder Beam, but at that point, it starts to feel less like exploiting a boss's weakness and more overcompensation for how annoying his shield can be. Honestly, if his telegraphs were more fair and his shield had more consistent uptime, I could see this being a decently fun fight. Instead, it ends up being almost as frustrating as the rest of the level. Danger! Electrifying hazards! First thing, most foremost, really, really rude enemy placements here. Those plug guys especially that are invisible until you get close. They're always placed in spots where you easily get knocked into death. Not great. Gets quite nasty near the end as well. With the tele-spawns and electric beam traps being in the way, and the conveyor belt means one hit and you fall. Strange shortcut with the secret that isn't too hard to notice. I guess it does let you skip the nasty final section and straight into the boss, but is it just weird that it's there? There aren't any collectibles to get in this level. Stage is thankfully short enough with the semi-rough difficulty, though I guess it is to be expected as an electric theme as Robot Master stage. And do enjoy the use of Shatterhand music, good choice there.
It was Shatterhand.
Pretty good mix and match with the MaGMML tile sets there too. And I like the dark blue background paired with the yellow caution tile and color scheme. Discharge Man himself could do without the build being shielded for a long boss theme. It's fine boss otherwise if a little punching in the damage department and the ear department. That sound effect is going to be in my nightmares. I really like his sprite work though. Very stylishly designed. The aesthetics are definitely the highlight of the stage for me.
I get the feeling Catchy has sensitive ears.
Throwing a casual player off guard, do it in a way that's relatively harmless. For example, the first fake floors in Mega Man 2. Or that makes the player suspicious before the trap is sprung. For example, the first camouflage medals in Mega Man 9. I'm on board with surprise spikes at the bottom of the fall because there's enough time to react unless you're playing on Parsec. But especially when checkpoints are so far apart. Elections need clearly marked spawn points and Electman blocks need a more gradual build-up to becoming brutally sneaky. Now, let the other judges rage against the Yachichi trap, which might have worked as a big shortcut back to that room with more convenient. Taking away all the gotcha modes, there's a lot to like. Coherent theming, energizing music, tile sets that look great together, nice use of sky, and several interesting challenges combine tired old elements in fresh new ways. I appreciate the need to really examine your surroundings and keep track of multiple hazards at once. Although this level caters too much to one particular playstyle, take it slow, use the buster, except in the toughest situations. It's satisfying to play this the right way. It's almost satisfying to fight the boss. All the individual attacks are good. I especially like the short hops and small projectiles, but the randomness is sudden and brutal. And the fun fizzles due to excessively long and frequent periods of invincibility. I also managed to get the boss stuck jumping endlessly in the corner, so that was an engaging fight. Additional playtesting and polish would do a lot of good. Visually and functionally consistent spikes, unmistakably distinct pits and vertical transitions, especially in a twisty level like this, and more consistent use of ceiling shadows are where smaller examples of where things could improve. Meet the first level that had me swearing out loud. Are you booping me? I said that out loud. Congratulations on that achievement. This level is your average electricity themed stage with an electricity themed Robot Master. The design is at best just kind of average. Nothing too impressive. Nothing too memorable. Nice piece of music. Few portions where you really have to be paying attention. Almost overabundance of Sniper Joes. But he did manage to be memorable in one way. There are the dirty moves. Enemies spawning literally out of nowhere? Check. Spikes littering the floor of the screen below as you drop? Check. A boss who is invincible for most of the battle, instead invincibility is turned off by the RNG odds? Check. A boss who also has attacks with an absurd damage output? Check. A bloody trap that sends you back to the start of the level? Check. Even unintentionally snuck in dick moves, with pits not being indicated as such, even invisible spikes in places. See, any one of these things would be bad, but all of them in the same level? Sheesh. So, you annoyed me. That annoyance persisted every time I'd go back to this level. I'd clap my hand to that forehead and go, oh yeah, there's that dickish thing again. This level's a mess. And yes, I even found a skip to go straight to the boss. Too bad I didn't like the boss, I guess. Who's that guy?
Who's it?
Anchorman. Can't believe it. Earlier, some bot named Presto was acting like they could borrow one of my anchors.
Kind of looks like Bastion as a second tail he's spinning around here.
Yeah. They want the weight tied to themselves, they said. Unbelievable. Anchors are far more than a simple self-induced burden.
Let go of my hand. Ow! Let me play the game, cat. Return of veteran Z with a mega fan. What? Well, there's no token in here.
Wait, Cheetah Men? And it's Commando Man. Or, no, that's Contra, not Cheetah Men.
Wait! He's shooting out invisible bullets! What? Why did we both die at the same time? What?
He's attacking anytime he lands. Like, that much is obvious.
Damages us? Or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or when one of us gets hurt, we both get hurt by the missiles for some reason.
No, every time he lands, he deals damage. I think.
That sounds like a bug to me.
What? Why?
What is this?
Why?
What is it?
That thing had like double its health.
Thought you were talking about the level music for some reason.
Can we have a checkpoint, please?
What?
It's the Mega Susie fight. This fight is annoying to begin with. Checkpoint! Why was that there? Why was that there? Snowman. What? Oh, so the level... Are we going backwards? Is that what the theme of this is? Are we going backwards through a level and starting at the... What is going on?
What?
Oh, this looks fun for multiplayer. Oh. There. Every time that... Okay. Who keeps placing bears on Bastion's way?
Strasbourg. What?!
There's a dragon.
Why did we unlock Rowan now?
Uh-huh. Oh! Guess what? We have abilities disabled for this. Isn't that...
What happened to the Yoku blocks? There. Oh no!
They are terribly timed?
Nice shooting. Yeah, like, that is very obviously Rowan Mithril. Like, in the absence of Rush, I guess I'll be playing as him. I certainly say, oh bugger, enough for the both of us. Yeah, I'm not coming out in that rain.
Health? Well, at least the leaves don't deal damage?
Mm.
Ah!
Well. Puts us all the way back here, huh?
Why back here? Dude, checkpoints exist for a reason. Your level is a prime example of why checkpoints are important. Checkpoint placement is important. Holy crap! Why this far back? Stop kicking the controller, sweetie.
You just let that explode. Oh no!
I mean, there's not a lot that you can do about that section there. Like, have a checkpoint after the mini-boss, please? At least? Yeah. You could have had a checkpoint before this section, man. Ow, sweetie, please.
You made it!
Made it too! No checkpoint boss. Why is there no checkpoint? No, puppy, come back.
Huh. Squid!
Thanks for the thing, I guess? Where is the checkpoint?
Here's one.
Thank you. Ow. Wrong energy, thanks. Oh no! No, 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 ah! That is a terrible
This is a
section
long
to have
stage.
that. Yes, it is.
What?
What? What? What? Why are there so many rocks? Hello, Copter Joe, dude. Whoa! You got a damage that dude in the copter did! Look at my health!
I took half of it when I respawned.
Oh. That was timing then. I was like, oh. Oh.
Yeah, that works. That
Or not.
doesn't.
That was Sweetie kicking my hand off the jump button.
Oops. That was... that might have been lag.
This is... I mean, again, once we get to the higher tiers, the game gets better as it goes on. We're in the dumpster first of all.
I mean, this is tier 3 of 15.
Look at that damage it still did. Look what it did to you. That is not just you respawning. That is absurd damage for no reason. Wait, that was you with Rush Coil.
Death by bear.
Oh, the bear mini boss does way less damage than frickin' like Helicopter Joe up there. Jeez. How much health do you have? Jeez. Oh.
More Mets.
I am not doing this again. Screw you. What an awful placement for this. Jeez. Why? 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 I can't believe you've done this. Why? 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 Why?
Oh, you got through.
Why?
What? Where's there a key? Is it above you?
Why? Just why? Why? Why?
I kind of want to know what happens if you slide into that gap when you fall down.
Just... Oh man. Why does it have so many shots? Why so many shots? You don't need that many shots! Why are they dropping frickin' the bit?
I don't know, I don't speak German.
Stop it. Get some help.
Oh. It's a mini-boss.
It's a double mini-boss.
That I can't exactly hit easily! Oh my god, this level is terrible! Why is it so long? Why is it so awful? Why is the checkpoint before the quick command lasers? Why? Why did I die there? I thought you were the one that hit it on my end.
Flurble!
Don't even line up correctly. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? Just take damage, I guess. Why do you have like twice as many shots as you normally have? There's no way to dodge his attacks.
Don't the red sniper, don't the red machine gun Joes always have that many shots? There's the key.
Can we waste all my energy tanks on this stupid stage? Oh, why have you done this? Is it the boss yet? Is it the boss yet? There's a boss here. Who the hell are you?
It's a recolor of Wave Man, obviously.
What?
What do you mean the stage isn't over?
Wait, we have to beat a boss? And then a boss without a checkpoint? Why are you here? Nobody likes you, go away.
Victory!
That was awful. Why?
Oh, hey, we're done
Tier
with tier... Wait, no, we're not.
Tier boss unlocked.
I recognize that introductory corridor. Unfortunately, familiarity doesn't automatically mean good. On the plus side, it still has a nice aesthetic variety. Yes, it all feels generic, but it manages to avoid being terribly boring. Likewise, Veteran Z is a halfway interesting fight. Sure, he's just Flashman followed by a Gustozer, but there is a degree of uniqueness that isn't always present in DevKit reskins. Unfortunately, Veteran Z is behind a long level, a ton of bloat to get through. The core issue is the sheer amount of things in here, creating a strong quantity over quality feel. The quicksand sections stick out a little more, but that's due to their penchant for cheap shots and or alarmingly easy deaths, thanks to a lack of proper telegraphing on the Rakisers or those rocks.
Sweetie, I never noticed her tail does that when I do this. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Sweetie. Those brown bars are not consistent markers. I also remember that key climb with a double squid on before a boss fight because it feels a tad excessive. And there was also a difficulty curve mishap with the squid on. The conveyor one felt noticeably harder than a quicksand one. Otherwise, this was long, padded with filler, and overall very generic. Speaking of excess, though, there's a good 11 different bosses and mini-bosses in here, plus a metric ton of spikes. We only have 4 checkpoints in the entire level. That combination means this isn't very fun right from the outset, with fake difficulty that pushes things a bit too far for my taste. I'll grant this isn't horrifically dull, but I can't say it's good either. Feels like less of a fully fleshed out level and more like a segmented showcase of various gimmicks and enemies. Sadly, that ends up making the stage pretty indistinct in the grand scheme of things. I need water. Ow! My hip! Ow!
Your head. I got my back. We'll find it. You're getting water? I will take a break for a second. Alright, new puppy. The puppy is on the floor. There she is. The fluff. Fluffy puppy. Okay. Alrighty. Read anything yet or no? Oh, I guess I got back first.
Oh. There's only a few parts of this stage that actually stood out to me. The ending section with the Guts lift platforms and crystal generators was one of them, but as it's the only part of the level that combines gimmicks, even if the lifts and the crystals in the first room weren't really synced up that well. The thing I noticed, or rather thought was a bit off, was the 2 Yoku block segments where you need to reach a ladder in the upper left corner of the room. I had to go back and compare these rooms side by side just to make sure they weren't completely reusing the same layout. Even though they aren't exactly alike, they're still very similar. As for the rest of the level, while I wouldn't say it's outright bad, it's not exactly interesting either. The main issue here lies in what I mentioned before, that every segment focuses on a different gimmick while completely ditching the previous ones, with the slight exception of the Yoku blocks. This may sound like a good way to give your stage more variety in theory, but in practice it just makes the level feel cluttered and unfocused. It doesn't help that most of the sections don't really use their gimmicks that well, often having incredibly basic setups and enemy layouts that don't offer much in the way of challenge. What is going on over there?
What? I got a dog pushing up under my seat.
There's a few exceptions to this, such as the rain and quicksand sections, although in the case of the latter, I think that was mostly due to surprise boulders. More often than not, however, the level design doesn't really do much to pose any sort of threat or offer engagement. As a side note, I feel like this stage missed out on a golden opportunity to play off more of the aspects found in its reference source material. Given how many strange things show up in Mega Man Z, I'd say it's a prime candidate for applying a reimagining to, akin to something like Cyberman's stage from the previous contest. If they had gone that route, I could see this level turning out great. Strange rival of an unknown origin. Veteran Z, he's from one of those rather obscure fan games, right? Surprising to see this guy being brought into here. For this stage, I'm sorry to say, but it's just a really frustrating experience for me overall. First off, this stage is packed with way too many mini-bosses at once. So much fighting, and you are given a very limited arsenal to work with, only half your weapons available, and no ammo resupply anywhere until the end. It's like going to war with only a knife, or the kitchen variant. It ain't gonna end well. Speaking of war, the stage even starts with a full-on boss fight, Commando Man. While the concept of starting your stage with a boss is certainly unique, you could have chosen a more friendly boss to start with, like the giant Susie you fight not long after. Way to start the stage with a bang, I suppose. To elaborate a bit more on how the stage was quite exhausting to play, the first section where the real stage begins, where Kevin's Stage 34 music starts playing, is especially problematic. It's several screens filled with the plentiful stalling enemies such as Sniper Joes and Susie's, Yoku blocks, puzzle with no rush or any bypass, before ending with doubled up wind gimmicks, which many instant death pits laying around and constant respawning umbrellas happily knocking you down and making you do the whole thing again. And if that's not enough, you still have to fight 2 more mini-bosses before you get to yourself a mercy checkpoint. It really could benefit from having an extra checkpoint in between, saving the whole frustration of replaying this large portion of the stage over and over. Then comes the part with its poor implementations of gimmicks. There's the aforementioned wind gimmick and respawning enemies ever so happily pushing you off the edge. The non-telegraphed boulder droppers are also just as annoying as ever to deal with due to the area of effect and slight RNG variables of the rocks shattering. The Guts Lift and Crystal Droppers together is a disastrous combo especially. The platform itself is too narrow for Mega Man to dodge the double-layered crystal drops. The 2 elements also rarely synced up for any jumping window, making the whole section essentially a bunch of waiting time and unfun to traverse. So, let's just throw in 2 more of those squid mini-bosses at the end of the section there. And they also make you do the one beginning lift and crystal jump one more freaking time to get to the key door. Watch out for the laser and pit in that same room or do the whole darn thing again. And then there's Veteran Z himself, who is absolutely pathetic and uninteresting, being a literal reskin of the Flashman fight and Guts Dozer for the second phase. While the boss itself is already a recolored Gemini Man in the first place. I guess that's the whole joke. Why did the stage start out hard and end with being so easy? Am I playing the whole stage backwards this whole time? Is this supposed to be a satire reflecting on the quality of the game, which is gosh diggity darn boss originated from? I'm left with so many questions. We're not done, are we? There's 2 more.
There's 1 more, I think.
No, there's 2. There's Flashman and Ace.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that every level should tell a story. Whether that story is told through gameplay, aesthetics, dialogue, or a combination of elements, there should be a clear thread leading the player from premise to conclusion. This level tells a story, but I have no idea what it is. From the title, I assume the level is a sequel or reference to something. The Contra music, Commando Man fight, and Napalm Man tiles start me in a veteran returning from a foreign war mindset, but then the bulk of the level takes place at some facility filled with polar bears, holograms, lasers, crystals, conveyors, helicopters, squid, umbrellas, and quicksand. What even is going on?
It's a Kojima game.
Each section is somewhat cohesive in terms of challenge and theming, and the tile work is commendable, but I can't detect any thread connecting them all. Even the music selection feels disjointed and occasionally grating. The two-part fight with Suing Veteran Z offers no insights, though captures the essence of a decent final battle. What is this level trying to accomplish? There's some noteworthy creativity surrounding conveyors and guts lists, but most of the level uses familiar setups without any significant twists, e.g. big eyes, giant Suzy, lasers. Yoka blocks show little promise. Geary is a nice touch, but there's so little. But there's so much waiting involved, especially for hologram to scroll itself off screen before proceeding. Other problems include uneven checkpoint power-up distribution, how boulders and crystals are introduced, seemingly arbitrary weapon limitations, climbing down a ladder to your death during a mini-boss fight, and using rush coil to avoid a key door, which potentially circumvents the final challenge if you save your key. I wish I had more positive things to say, but because I can't get a handle on the story, I have a hard time enjoying the level. This is a stage I had Liana in as a proxy. I feel like I should recount what happened during the play session. After fighting one of the harder dev kit bosses in the first room, Liana accidentally dying to a big eye and starting from the beginning, I decided to throw down my pen and leave the room. Why is there no checkpoint after the boss? Why is there a second boss before we see the first checkpoint? Why does the stage that lasts around 15 to 20 minutes have 3 stage checkpoints in? What is the obsession with mini-bosses? All questions yet to be answered. This is a level that is trying to be a Wily level, but these are one of the hardest level types to get right. In the base series, these are often the most generic of stages, reusing previously seen level assets willy-nilly. This leaves the level with almost no identity and cohesion, especially when you keep changing between tile sets and gimmicks. The level appears to be structured quite well, and the Quickman laser segment was a highlight, but there were a couple of places with tight jumps due to low ceilings. There should have also been some visual indicators for dropping boulders and crystals. Having 11 boss fights in the stage is frankly overkill. There are a couple of ideas on the verge of working, but when the 6th boss in the stage is the only one doing something clever, it is quite hard to notice or care. The final encounter with the twin Squidon is just horrendous. There is no reliable way to dodge on a moving platform being bombarded by crystals. Going up. Fishman! Preposterous! I've tried to call for my mighty steed to escort me through the tournament grounds, yet it seems that my calls have been blocked by poor reception here. How will I get around in style now? Whoops.
Apparently that. Are you showing off?
What's through here?
Airman's ultimate weapon.
Oh no!
Oh.
Airman refuse. What?
It's a shortcut, apparently.
Airman refuses to lose.
Look at those scores for shit. Oh wow, we're in for a. Is this another skip gate? No.
For a little bit, I thought we were in an auto-scroller, but no. It was just you.
For custom sprites for us to play with, although we can't really do anything because until the 2-player sprites are double one up, I guess. Oh! Are you okay, Joe? I think Joe is,
Joe has been imprisoned by Airman! Whoops. Anyway, I would much rather have this level than the Airman Classic, for now.
Hey, I'm used to Airman Classic. But I also used to almost, I used to hold a couple of records for Mega Man 2, so... What the...
Sheep Man!
What?
Seriously?
You can't even avoid it.
I mean, if you use Rush, or Magnet Beam, I guess.
I hate this. Why did you do it like that? That
More
is
Sheep
awful.
Man! I happen to really like Mega Man 10.
Dude,
Oh, look.
oh. Oni platforms, or whatever they're called. They look like Oni, like octopus.
They're kind of
I don't know.
I guess.
Oh! Well, these aren't gonna sync up correctly.
Uh-oh.
Stop it. I can't! They don't sync up right! Ah! No. Slide into it. Ugh.
You made it.
Is this the dude? Or are we already at the boss? It is you.
He's
not-
dead.
Nope.
What was that?
It's armor piercing. You could shoot through his invisible frickin' tornadoes. That was something. What the hell?
Well, one thing's for sure, this level is extremely green and not a whole lot else. There's a few kind of unique moments, if only because I've never seen a password unlock without the actual cannon, meaning it's absolutely no threat. But the level is primarily encounters with generic goons or Airman's regular goons. Unfortunately, this is nothing we haven't seen before, and even when the level adds on sheep blocks, it continues to be unremarkable. Probably the only thing I need to remark on is the absurd amount of green. Mainly because green spikes and all the other solids equals readability havoc. The boss, however, is borderline unplayable nonsense. His regular attack spawns and dies immediately, so he's basically just dabbing uselessly. But then every so often he'll freeze time and fire large wind waves that tear off large pieces of your health bar. If you happen to be grounded when he does this, you're pretty much dead with no warning. When the most prominent element of a level is this thoroughly broken and it's got nothing else going for it, it needs to go back to the drawing board. During the process of judging these levels, we were tasked with giving each a personal difficulty score. This one got a 3 out of 5 for me, and the one and only reason it got even that high is due to the boss. As far as the stage itself goes, it's pretty short with not much to talk about, save for a few aspects. The color palette is certainly one, given how overly green the tiles are. I thought it looked nice! They don't look that bad when paired with the sky backgrounds, but the indoor segments are a bit harder to look at past. That aside, the melody response cannon, minus the cannon part, is probably the most notable section of the stage, and not for the right reasons. 2 of the buttons aligned underneath a low platform, making it impossible to jump over said buttons without hitting them. It's a very tedious segment to an otherwise bland level. As implied before, however, the boss is what really pushes it over the edge. Airman has a plethora of problems, the most obvious being that his tornadoes don't spawn correctly. They flash in for a split second and can actually damage you if you're standing in a spot where they briefly appear, then immediately go away while Airman casually pushes you back. There's his air wave attack, which does enough damage to kill you in 4 hits. Thankfully, it's relatively easy to avoid until he pulls out a version of it that stops time. There's no telegraph for when he's about to do this, which means that if you get frozen while facing him on the ground, you'll be losing a ton of health, or depending on how much damage you've taken prior, all of it, with no way to retaliate. Thankfully, he's incredibly weak to the Spark Chaser, which can also easily trigger a soft lock. If you kill Airman while time is frozen via Spark Chaser by just timing your shots right, The time freezing effect doesn't go away no matter how long you wait. All things considered, I think it's perfectly safe to say this could have done a lot more playtesting. Looky, Airy does the funny. Green room, green spark, green wire. Simon says me, boss, with no sort of failing other than the annoying of needing to use special weapons to reverse through the buttons without triggering them. No checkpoint after that until right before the boss. I guess this is supposed to be making fun of Mega Man 1 and 2 level design? Yeah, the stage is short enough, I guess. Variant fight is silly, I guess. Definitely ruined when getting caught by a flash stopper attack the first time around. Being stuck and not being able to deal with the onslaught is not good boss design. Also, really weird that tornadoes he summons show up for one frame and then despawn immediately. Can't tell if it's intentional behavior. With 176 levels to judge, I've tried to balance detail with brevity and limit myself to around 300 words per review. That adds up to more than 52,000 words, which is longer than The Great Gatsby. And those are just the words that made the final cut. I can't tell you how many times I've revised and completely rewritten these reviews. As long as the level's premise, atmosphere, challenges, and polish give me something worth writing about, I don't mind producing another 300-odd words. Here, I'm struggling. The level is playable, it meets my expectations for length, general layout, and other fundamental aspects of design, but when competing against 175 other levels, playable is only a starting point. Theming, novelty, fairness, purpose, that's what I'm looking for on every screen. Color contrasting spikes of a uniform design, two-way ladder transitions, and a boss fight with stable programming would be nice too. From the entrance to the music, none of the elements from Airman's level in Mega Man 2 are used in a way that feels original. The button puzzle is awkward filler. Doesn't fit with the rest of the level. There's no risk of danger involved, and a low ceiling makes some button sequences impossible without using special weapons to get around the room. Sheet man blocks are a rough surprise for players who haven't encountered them before. It's a shame they're never combined with any enemies. Medals and Joes are thoroughly exhausting these stale configurations. Airman jokes have run their course. At least the tile set is simple and clean. The boss chamber looks particularly good. Simple and clean is the way that you make everything tonight. This stage doesn't have it easy being green. In fact, it rather hurts the eyes at some points. I liked how it looked! Also, fun fact, witness and death spikes should probably not be the same color as the background in which they're on. Most of the stage is just oh so very basic. The most stock of stock asset enemies, a very badly placed mini-boss, and, well, to top the stage off, what we have was the most pointless of pointless Simon Says doors. Said section is absurd to try to navigate, and the fact that the checkpoint is before it rather than after it makes dying to the air tikis way more annoying than it had any right to be. And then, Airman. I mean, his sprite looks good, but it's also not yours. It's straight from Boyland stage in MaGMML 2. And honestly, what the bleeding hell? Either he freezes time, in which case he starts attacks that knock off a whopping quarter of your health and you can't even slightly avoid it because, you know, he's frozen time without telling you he was going to do so. Or his attacks refuse to spawn. Yeah, obviously not a fan of any of this. I hope I lose a grand tail by that one ender.
Why do I get the feeling there's going to be a skip gate?
Nope. What? You are not supposed to be here, but well, since you are here, I may as well give you a little tip. This room is somewhere with tons and tons of something. It's very special, and said room could be useful, though. Oh, be careful going down that ladder. Wait, you could... Whoa! There was a way up.
Yeah, that's where we just came from.
Oh, right.
Oh, these backgrounds are hideous. Oh, that's not a way. That's not a secret place down, at least.
This music might be a remix of Galaxy Man's stage. Speaking of Galaxy Man, ah!
Whoa! What? Oh, this is not going to be a fun time.
I can't help you because I'm dead.
This is not going to be a fun time. And there's a bunch of tokens in this level too.
Okay, good. The grabber missed. Nice. What? Are we supposed to fall through a quicksand?
I think we have to go back. I mean, I'll test, but I think...
No! How rude. What?
Wait, was that the token over there? What the hell is that thing? Can you not?
Smile, Yoku smiley spikes. Dr. Cossack.
Is there... Where is this last token going to be?
You have them all.
I do?
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, that's a pit down there. Wow, that was luck I avoided that.
Oh there, sir. Let's go through an adventure. You deserve it. Alright, then close to... Huh? What? What? What?
That was awful.
Well, that was silly. It's painfully obvious this isn't a serious attempt, but there's some fun stuff in here, and it does go anywhere close to Overlord. The many resized enemies are worth a chuckle. Bunbies everywhere got the odd chuckle, and the music was great for setting the mood. For more serious commentary, the unusual Yoku patterns made them more interesting than the standard stuff, on top of actually having a difficulty curve. And Booby Trap had a fun cameo with an actually genuinely interesting boss room. I was disappointed they all died in one hit. In all honesty, there's some competent stuff in here. I'll be surprised if that actually gets last place. I'll be surprised if it even ends up in Tier 1. This has more merit than it first seems.
Boobeam? That is a terrible name.
Honestly, I've seen a lot worse. The stage isn't good, not by a long shot, but it's not quite what I'd call last place material. Really, the only major thing worth mentioning here is the secret room to the right at the start of the stage. Not only can you die by clipping through the wall, but there's so many bolts and other collectibles lit around it, actually lag the game for me. Other than that, the rest of the stage's issues are all fairly obvious, with the level structure, aesthetics, and general cohesion just being all over the place. That said, there are two things about this level I actually liked. One's the choice of music, and the other was the setup involving the boobing traps. That part had the potential to be really interesting, but it comes and goes so fast it feels like a wasted opportunity. I get that's probably intentional, given the obvious, but at the very least, I think it's something worth exploring if you want to try your hand at a more legitimate level in the future. Wish satisfied, you didn't win. There isn't really much going on in the level design. Straight linear rooms, and then some Yoku blocks making funny faces. Not really that much of a grand tale. I like the part with the grabby enemies falling in various sizes. Hilarious, though it doesn't really add to the level design. And the other jokes, I either don't get or they go by so quickly, especially the ending funnies. This is a level design context, not the Magfly. Make a good funny level, yes. Can't say I'm impressed with this one. I'm so sorry. I was really hoping you'd lose, but you just didn't make your level bad enough. Maybe it's the thoughtful checkpoint placement and reasonably placed power-ups. Maybe it's the rockin' music. Maybe it's the goofy weirdness of the resized and misshapen enemies. Whatever the case, this is hardly the kind of level to lose in a contest like this. Granted, the odd color combinations and mishmashy tile work are a little unappealing and make it hard to tell spikes from the rest of the foreground. Architecture and overall layout sometimes feel haphazard. Aside from a sharp learning curve, there isn't much of a challenge. So many hazards are used as decoration, and Rush can bypass almost all the rest. The final stretch seems like a reference to something I'm unfamiliar with, so the end of the level falls flat. Still, the shortcomings are forgivable enough. Aside from deliberately inconsistent collision object use, screen transitions where you can land inside a wall, the dead-end secret area that lags my computer with ludicrous generosity, construction is actually acceptably sound. There's some creative Yoku block and mystery tank use in the token challenges. Even if it's underwhelming in execution, a boot-beam fight relying on gimmicks is a fun idea. At the end of the day, the level is neither ironically good enough nor hilariously bad enough to live up to its name. No effort was made to be obnoxiously grand or insubstantially fluffy. It may very nearly hit the brief of making a good Mega Man level, and that's disappointing. Okay, so I'll skip things I would normally comment on here. Those issues are obvious. You know they're obvious, I know they're obvious, and we all know this isn't remotely serious, but, this level isn't bad enough for a title to qualify. Also, no, this isn't even Ace Draws a Furry comic bad enough affair either. No, there was in fact the occasional sign of competence amid the random nonsense. Most of the Yoku block setups are actually pretty solid and playable, which is only noticeable provided the player doesn't actively skip them, and any platforming in the stages is rather likely due to the level's vibe, making this highly likely that the player reaction to the stage will be, I can't be arsed. I should know, this occurred right on my first run of the stage. Well, that is, it's solid, barring the last token room. It's overly long pattern that involves inexplicable spike Yokus. And the rest is just utter nonsense, and you know what? It's just hopelessly mediocre rather than bad. And which is worse, a bad level where you get perverse joy at either laughing at it or with it, or a stage that gets no real reaction otherwise? You be the judge. Hey, what's a big idea? Why'd I fill a gauntlet with water? Now we can't even get to the simulations down below. Look at that idiot who claims they're real oil, man. Pfft. Everyone knows real oil doesn't float on water, it floats on air. I've always heard alligators run big city sewers. Was there perhaps a misunderstanding? The only reptiles I've seen here are turtles. I shot one and felt no satisfaction. How do I fill my appetite? Gilded Man by Rad Robot. Alright, it's 11:45. What the heck is this? It's Kingman's stage from Shovel Knight.
The color palette hurts my eyes.
It's a little gaudy, yeah. Florida Flurble!
Yes. Paint scene, yes. Why is that there? Well, I was gonna
that didn't work.
Time to re-see the gaudy. This hurts my eyes. I have a headache from being sick. It's making it worse. Then I have to do this in my own individual playthrough. Uh-oh.
I'm gonna try to bounce out. It didn't work.
It did not work.
Oh no! Talk about rude enemy placement.
That seems to be a common theme on the lower tiers.
Dang it! Guy kind of has a lot of health, doesn't he? Hey, gotcha.
I wonder if I should up the animation for Bastion when he's idle or not, but I think it's fine.
And
I mean, it's like a cat. They're always moving their tail, but he's always moving his tentacles, I guess. I mean, it's a displacer cat. What do you expect?
I feel like he should spend like quite a bit more time on one frame of that, and then like do like 2 quick twitches.
You can't do that, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
It's either you have like 1 frame for the blink, the normal where you wait a while, or you have it animated like Proto Man's scarf.
Okay, so like 1 twitch for blinking.
That, yeah, it still takes a while. Plus, it's also Bastion being an impatient adventurer type.
Yeah, okay. If you're seeing this message, do not touch, signed, Gilded Man.
Okay, whatever, dude. It's mine now.
What? Okay, well, rude. Whoops.
Besides, it's also based partly off my cats when they're like just sitting there wanting to do something. Like Sweetie, if you notice, her tail is always flicking around when she's wanting stuff. Tigers too, their tail is just like flicking usually. I get the feeling there's nothing on there. Well, that is some terrible freaking
brick placement.
Well, like, what the heck, dude? That looks like it's actually something, but it's not.
It's death.
I don't know if there's anything in here, but we can... Oh, no, we can't, because there's no going back. Once you have entered the place, you are stuck. Uh-oh.
Oh, look at this setup again, kinda.
Why are all these little red things just scattered about here?
I don't know.
Are those supposed to be gems? They just... How many boss doors do we need for no reason? Are you just like trying to troll us? I really hope there's not a freaking element in here. Was there an element in here? Do you remember?
No, there are no tokens in this level.
Okay.
You can look at the empty slots on the right side. Nice.
Oh, I didn't even notice that before. Okay.
Another
Yay!
plushie. You're not top man. Get out of here.
Why is this level so long? Yay, lag. Ow. I probably should have grabbed that.
Yeah, maybe. Ow.
We actually hit the boss. Who the hell are you? MS Paint Man! Ah!
Oh, why do I have Trident on?
Is this supposed to be like King Man or something? Oh, great! Respawn. Thank you, Kitty. I didn't necessarily want the respawn there, but okay, whatever.
Ooh! Ooh!
Okay, he actually stops to pick up his gem, which is kind of interesting. So
yeah.
What we get? We got Sheepman.
Yay! Skullman.
Man. Yay! Well, we can read this, I guess. And...
That's a color palette. Point blank, the biggest issue with Gilded Man is absolutely garish. There's far too many bright colors and not enough darks to go with it. Things are visible at least, it's not like there isn't any contrast, but seriously, lights and darks, please, my eyes will thank you profusely. Outside of dim colors, Gilded Man seems like an attempt to make King Knight's level into a Mega Man level. It's definitely heavily inspired by King Knight, considering the chandeliers, the music choice, and the boss design. Does it work? Not in this case. The enemy encounters are functional, but there's no real variety, so they get dull fast. It doesn't help that the enemy set itself is rather dull. Telly's, Mets, Joe's, and Big Eye. About the only one that isn't common is Top Fiend, and he's still not that uncommon an enemy. The chandeliers are a bit better. To climb downwards is the most interesting part of the stage, and their introduction is well played. However, the rest fall into the same functional but boring trap, causing the place to just exist. Combine that with a love for fake-out boss doors and at least one broken trap room, and this needs a lot of work. It's an okay start, and if nothing else, I appreciate that Gilded Man actually showed up at the end. Given the music choice, among a few other things, I get the feeling the stage is meant to emulate some aspects of Pridemore Keep from Shovel Knight. Even if that's not the case, it doesn't change just how lacking this level feels. Let's start with the most obvious and biggest problem here. The visuals are really rough on the eyes. It isn't just because the tiles and Gilded Man himself aren't exactly the highest quality in terms of sprite work. Rather, it's mostly due to the color choices. Nearly everything is way too bright, with the only exception being the purple sky, but even then I wouldn't necessarily call it good looking. Not even the enemies are safe from this, as all of them have gotten a similar overly vibrant coat of paint. I can understand wanting to recolor enemies to have them fit better with the stage's scene, but you really need to pick out your colors carefully and make sure they're not clashing or too hard on the eyes. Aside from the aesthetic issues, there's almost nothing else I can really say about this stage. The room layout and platforming challenges are all incredibly basic, with little or no challenge involved, making for a pretty bland experience overall. Honestly, there's only two major things I can think of that are worth bringing up. The first is the fact that the music doesn't loop properly. This goes for the stage, both the stage and boss themes. The other is a far more glaring issue involving that one bonus room with a sign that tells you to not touch the items. Regardless of whether or not you take the items, there's no transition that lets you go back to the previous screen, meaning the only way out of that room is to throw yourself into the pit below. Unfortunately, this is probably the most memorable thing about the stage, besides the overly bright color palette, of course. King Man, now with 100% fewer chess references. Well, this is a weird one. I guess if the theme was, what if King Knight was a Mega Man Robot Master instead? Or is the joke here is supposed to be a bootleg King Knight? There are definitely similar elements used here. The falling chandeliers, for example, tile set resemblances, and the most obvious, the music choices. The visuals could have been done better. A lot of sharp and flat colors being used. The yellow especially can be pretty eye-piercing. Enemy reskins are mostly in a change in colors. None of them immediately made me realize what they are representing in the original King Knight stage either. The architecture is a little weird. There are many weird openings throughout the stage that don't really lead anywhere. They sometimes even lock you out the exit because you forgot to put a two-way screen transition object. Music is also a bit crusty and inconsistent in volume between the stage and boss music, almost like they were taken from separate YouTube videos. Look at the stage if you can stand the view. A sickening milieu. Egad, it's all yellow. It's not too long. Tough chandeliers are few. Checkpoints are well placed. Woo! And so I feel mellow. I can tell that some thought went into this level, but the execution lets it down. The golden castle festooned with jewels is neat.
Ooh.
More texture in the foreground tiles would help the bright color be less of a shock. Crystal Joe looks snazzy in red, the other recolored enemies look unnatural in jewel tones, and they don't contribute to the theming as well as some other enemies which you could have used, which is a darn shame. The reskinned Yamato Man is fine but underwhelming. Oddly, his hitbox is slightly higher than Laser Trident can reach from the ground. The music selection is good, the looping and volume need attention. Although the custom graphics could use more polish, the tile set arrangement is on point. Striking the right balance of repetition and pops of interest. However, the architecture was logically and aesthetically confusing, with inexplicably empty rooms, suspicious spike-line passageways that go nowhere, and an overall layout that makes no sense when viewed on a map. Screen transitions are rampantly unsafe, leading to instant death if you enter from the wrong angle or attempt to backtrack. This makes the chandelier introduction especially rough. Unlabeled telespawners and a couple deceptively low ceilings contribute to unwelcome surprises being the most dangerous part of this level. I'd like to see more combinations. Tellies with other enemies are top solids with anything, really. Currently, they could be replaced with regular solid blocks and you'd barely know the difference. The upper limit of difficulty increases as the level progresses, but the lower limit stays constant because of solo enemy challenges. That said, there's enough variation that nothing gets too stale. While not being a particularly good level, the stage does have a certain charm, cohesion, and atmosphere. However, the enemy selection is very safe and generic, and enemies are never used in a creative or novel way. Plus, there are two types of Joes. Two! Come on, just one of these guys breaks the flow of stages. There's also very little challenge in this stage, as it starts and stays easy throughout. There are a lot of little bits of the architecture in the level that do not seem to make sense, from the holes in the floor and walls with spikes blocking the way, to a couple instances where your gimmick cannot be interacted with, or the player does not need to use the platform at all. There's also way too many areas that look like they should hold secrets, but don't. Speaking of secrets, there's also a broken transition out of the secret room where the player is forced to suicide to get out. Fortunately, the stage is very generous with checkpoints, so this does not affect you too much. Honestly, the graphics look amateurish. When creating NES-style graphics, you need to be referencing other tile sets. As is, the level tile set is very undetailed, though the way it is used does show some thought behind the tiling. The lack of detail means the majority of the level is a single, bright block color and kind of an eyesore. The reskin boss is very cute, although you do need to make sure it does not deform when moving.
Oh no. Leaving off then for now?
Yeah, I think so.
Alrighty. Well, they'll have the multiplayer thing. No, not leaderboards. What? Hopefully, they will have the multiplayer custom sprites fixed. Because I made a custom sprite for Susie. Now we can't use it. At least we know it's not on my end. It's just multiplayer. You being in game dev stuff spotted that part. Hey, so, alright, well, that's going to be it for me. I would normally stay up later to play on my own, but I am horribly, horribly sick. Maybe with the big C again for like the third time. So, I'm just going to go play some SMT5 V and just relax, and then I'll be back on Monday with maybe Tales of Vesperia again. Oh, that's right, I don't have the pizza shop job anymore because I quit that because, wow. It's not good for somebody with a bad back, and when the boss gets be a jerk, yeah, it's not worth it. I'm freaking 41. Like, I'm not gonna put up with somebody being an asshole. Like, sorry. Hey, I did that enough when I was like 16 in my 20s. No way, dude. Like, I'm too old for that nonsense. So, hey, I'll be back then. Maybe with Tales of Vesperia, maybe Mega Man, maybe Neo, and maybe tomorrow before you stream, whenever you plan to start streaming, I'll do something else. See,
I usually start streaming around 7-ish.
All right. We'll have to see how I'm feeling, but for now, everybody stay well, be well, and I'll see you next time.
Night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Again, revenge! Wait, hold on. You have a husky. You can have a husky.